Welcome back to Leon the King TV. Let's talk wrestling. I think we got it this time, but we are back. Tonight is AEW Big Business. AEW Big Business. Debut conversation. We also got the big title match with Samoa Joe and Wardlow for the AEW World Title. I think we may see the return of MJF tonight, possibly. If not, then they got other big plans because it's still a big packed show. Darby Allin versus Jay White, Willow Nightingale. So it's a packed show. They claimed are defending the AEW World Tag titles. It's a packed show. After this past weekend with AEW Revolution, this is a big show. So it's a big night with AEW Big Business. Excited. There's a lot going on in the world of pro wrestling this past weekend. There's a lot going on in the world of pro wrestling. We got the retirement of Sting at AEW Revolution, the retirement match. Sting and Darby Allin versus the Young Bucks for the AEW tag titles. Then we also got some WWE news going on. Things with WrestleMania 40 being in the first week of April next month. WrestleMania 40 is the 40th WrestleMania event, a 2-night event, but this is the 40th WrestleMania. So WrestleMania 40, the main event. Roman Reigns, The Rock versus Cody Rhodes, Seth Rollins. Night 2 main event, The Rock versus Cody Rhodes, Roman versus Cody Rhodes, for the WWE Undisputed Universal title. So we got a lot of big things coming on in the world of wrestling. I want to start off with some AEW stuff. I definitely believe Samoa Joe will retain again in this Wardlow match with the AEW World Championship. One second here. Like it's a lot of they're in Boston tonight for their event Big Business. Give me 1 second. Even last week on Dynamite, we saw the debut of, I believe it was Dynamite. If not Revolution, it was definitely Dynamite. We saw the debut of Kazuchika Okada signing with All Elite Wrestling. He is on a 4-year deal with All Elite Wrestling AEW. Signed a contract and now he's on the roster. But I think out of all these matches so far, the Young Bucks and Okada versus versus Eddie Kingston. This upcoming match. We also got Darby Allin versus Jay White. Samoa Joe and Wardlow, which just happened. We also got Willow Nightingale versus Rio. Hook and Chris Jericho versus the Gates of Agony. Good card so far. I'm definitely going Darby in this Jay White match. Darby all the way. I'm a big Darby Allin fan. Anyone who can tie his hands behind his back in a chair and jump off a stand or jump from a top rope is crazy to me. So I like what he does, his style in the ring. Willow Nightingale and Rio. I'm gonna go Willow Nightingale. She's got to go over. Especially if they're kind of teasing a match with her and Mercedes Mone coming up, then I would definitely think they're gonna get Willow Nightingale over in this match. It makes sense. We haven't seen Rio compete in a while, so I think Willow takes this win. She gets the W. Hook and Chris Jericho. Well, this is also what. Before I get to that, this is also what I want to say. Um, AEW's women's division has not been. I don't want to compare it to WWE's, but definitely their women's division in the last few years has not been impressive due to the fact that they probably don't have a big amount on their in their division on their roster. But they definitely do have some wrestlers on that roster. I'm not gonna lie. If you have Willow Nightingale, formerly you had Jade Cargill, former TBS champion. You had Britt Baker, DMD. You had I mean, just a lot of people. I mean, it's not where it was starting out, but it definitely can get better over time. But it's their women's business is not as impressive to me. It doesn't really move me. But I think that I want to see Willow Nightingale get this W. But now that they have Monet signed to the roster, this definitely can elevate their women's division. Um, Now Hook, the FTW champion, that match he had with Samoa Joe a couple months ago was amazing. He gave Joe a run for his money. He proved he got in that ring and showed and said stood up as a young talent, said I want some, I want that championship, and I'm gonna collect two titles. I'm gonna be the FTW World Champion and I'll be the AEW World Champion. He went and gave a hell of a performance in that match. So shout out to Hook, man. Hook winning that match against Samoa Joe. He lost against Samoa Joe, excuse me, but he actually really gave it his all in that match. And I think that Hook is definitely, in my opinion, I want to say he's AEW's version of a Dominic, but I think he can get there. He could definitely be a future AEW World Champion. Um, him tag teaming with Chris Jericho is very interesting. And the tag team that Gates of Agony is, Gates of Agony definitely needs to be AEW World Tag Team Champions at some point. They are very good. They're very good in the ring. And let's just kind of see what they do. But Gates of Agony really are great wrestlers. And when you look at what they've done in the Indies with the Briscoes and all that type of stuff, they are great. Now, this Okada and Eddie Kingston match. This is interesting. Following the Young Bucks loss to Darby and Sting at Revolution, him teaming with Penta Jr. and Pac. This is kind of an interesting match that we're getting. Um, I don't think I would be booking the Young Bucks at this point. After their loss at Revolution this past weekend, it's too soon. It kind of shows you that AEW doesn't know how to Tony Khan doesn't know how to book their promotion. But it could be good seeing the elite, seeing that New Japan Pro talent reunited again, taking on other indie talent. But New Japan, come on, man, them dudes can wrestle. Because Kazuchika Okada, the Young Bucks, AJ Styles, Cody Rhodes, Luke Gallows, Carl Anderson, Jay White, Kenny Omega. The name goes on and on. Them boys get doggone wrestle. You know what I mean? So it's like we're really AEW is doing very good in showcase, and this is what they do different from WWE. They showcase what wrestling is, and they showcase to you the industry of wrestling. Where WWE of course, it's wrestling, but we're more built on showing you sports entertainment as wrestling. I see it's the same thing, but the difference is we're seeing more wrestling, and that's what's amazing than entertainment. We are looking at the art form of what pro wrestling is, and that's what's impressive. That's why we're seeing a lot of indie talent in AEW, where AEW relates more to indie marks, We're seeing the New Japan talent, all Japan talent, the Ring of, I mean, AEW, Tony Khan owns Ring of Honor. Ring of Honor is part of All Elite Wrestling. So we're seeing Ring of Honor talent. We're seeing talent from other indie promotions, whether it's House of Glory, BPW, we're seeing it. So this is amazing, man. We're seeing a lot of great wrestling talent in AEW. If you're not watching AEW, something's wrong because AEW has very good wrestling right now. You look at their roster. Okada, the Young Bucks, Darby Allin, Jay White, Samoa Joe, Warlow, Hook, Chris Jericho, Sammy Guevara, Powerhouse Hobbs, Swerve Strickland, Hangman Adam Page, the Acclaimed, Max Caster. I mean, it's you. The name goes on and on. Jay White, like these are wrestlers. Penta Junior. Um, this is a powerhouse roster full of actual wrestlers. Adam Copeland, Edge. So this is a great roster of people who can wrestle, and I mean that's why it's called AEW. It's all elite wrestling, and they are showing you all elite wrestling. But something big is going to have to happen at the end of the show tonight. Especially if Samoa Joe and Warlow was the first match on the card, and that's something's gonna have to happen with that. But AEW Big Business is tonight. Gonna be checking it out soon, and gonna be excited to watch. Now moving on to WWE news. This past week on Monday Night Raw, this was the best Raw. The ratings had to be good. This is one of the best Raws in a while, and we got the Chad Gable and Sami Zayn one on one during the last like 10 minutes of that number one contenders match. It was like six dudes. It was like Bronson Reed, Ricochet, Chad Gable, Sami Zayn, a couple other guys. I forgot who. Um, but it was a match, and this is my opinion. They screwed the shit out of Chad Gable. They screwed Chad Gable. Chad Gable should have been number one contender for the IC title against Gunther at Mania 40. But they had to book Sami Zayn as the one to go on and win that match. Ridiculous. Ridiculous. This is what I'm going to say about Chad Gable. He's athletic. You got to remember when he was back in the SmackDown Live era, when he was tag team partners with Jason Jordan, and on SmackDown they were Alpha Academy. That dude, Chad Gable, is athletic. Chad Gable is like the next Kurt Angle. I said it. Chad Gable, I don't give a shit. Chad Gable is the next Kurt Angle. He's got the athleticism. He's got the promo. He's got the character. The in-ring ability is all I really care about, to be honest. But the guy's got in-ring ability. So the fact that Sami Zayn wins this match, Sami was the one who Sami didn't have the momentum in that match. He did not have the momentum in the match. It was honestly Chad Gable. And they just said, hey, screw it. We're going to let Sami get over. Sami gets the W. And we're just going to bury Chad Gable like that. And we're going to say, but this is what I think they should be booking. If I was creative, this is what I would be booking. On Raw, following Mania, if Sami Zayn defeats Gunther for the IC title at Mania, then that following week on Raw, the night after Mania, Sami Zayn comes out, cuts a promo as the new IC champion. Then you see Chad Gable's music. You hear Chad Gable's music. Chad comes out to the ring, congratulates him, attacks him, hits him with a finisher, and then we get the heel Chad Gable. We get a Chad Gable heel turn. And what better to do it is to start a faction with him and the Creed brothers. Now that's booking. Chad Gable attacks the IC champion Sami Zayn, turns heel, and starts a faction with the Creed brothers. Now you're booking something. Now you booking something. That's how you book wrestling. That's the way WWE needs to book. Sami Zayn at this point is going to have to either. I didn't want to see Gunther lose his IC title, but at this point, Sami's going to have to be the one to do it, so that way he can get the match for Chad Gable. After this historic IC title run, Gunther can go after any main event title. He can go after the Undisputed Universal title on SmackDown. He can go after the World Heavyweight title on Raw. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Any title, honestly. Mid-card, low-card, main event title, whatever. But they're going to have to give Chad Gable a rematch for that title opportunity. They're going to have to give him the IC match against Sami Zayn. That's the best way to book after Sami Zayn defeating Gunther at Mania 40 for the IC title. As far as Judgment Day, the thing going on with Judgment Day, if WWE, to me, I'll say this: they need more titles. They're gonna have to find a way to split the SmackDown titles, tag titles, and Raw tag titles. Those championships gotta be split up. So I think what's gonna happen is Finn Balor and Damian Priest are gonna lose the tag titles, one half of the tag titles, and they'll keep the one half of the tag titles, whether it be the Raw or SmackDown tag titles. But what's gonna happen is it's probably gonna force them to go to either a different brand, possibly. Whether they leave Raw and go to SmackDown, whether they don't go to SmackDown and stay on Raw, one way or the other, the championship's going to have to split up. And they're going to have to go to one brand or another. So as far as Damian Priest's Money in the Bank briefcase, before I say that, they're going to need either to create new tag championship titles. Just like last year after Mania, they presented the new World Heavyweight title. They're going to have to do it this year with the tag titles. New WWE World Tag Team Championship titles. They're going to need it. I don't like the tag teams being on both brands. I don't like it. Separate them. We got two brands for a reason. Raw can have their tag champs. SmackDown can have their tag team champs. Separate it. It makes sense. Now, they're going to need new tag championships. But I want to talk about, finally, the Damian Priest briefcase. Damian Priest and the idiots who disagree are just going to forever be idiots, in my opinion. Because Damian Priest must cash in the Money in the Bank briefcase at WrestleMania 40 this year. If not at WrestleMania 40, it will be the Raw following Mania, but it must be this year. And I would like it to be at Mania 40. Because imagine, a lot of people don't see this happening, but I see it happening. Cody Rhodes finishes his story, defeats Roman Reigns. He defeats Reigns and raises up the title as Universal Champion. And then all of a sudden you hear Damian Priest's punishment theme music hits. Priest runs out to the ring with the briefcase. Seriously, like, I wouldn't mind if we see that happening. I wouldn't mind if Damian Priest is the one who runs out with that briefcase, cashes in on Cody, and becomes the Undisputed Universal Championship. It's a good twist. It's a good way to book. Because we're finally getting to see something different and something that we wouldn't expect. As fans, none of us would expect Damian Priest to cash in on Roman Reigns or Cody Rhodes in that story. So Cody could still finish his story. You know, Cody Rhodes could still finish the story, but Damian Priest is the one to also add to the. He could add an ending to that story, and it also makes a lot of sense. And I've been saying it for a while too. It makes a lot of sense to see Damian Priest cash in on either Seth Rollins or Drew McIntyre during the World Heavyweight Title match at Mania 40, whether it be night 1 or night 2. Damian Priest is on the Raw roster. He can, but with that briefcase, he can cash in any brand. He can cash in on SmackDown. He can cash in on NXT, any of the NXT titles, or he can cash in on any of the Raw singles titles. So it doesn't matter. But the choice is his on what he wants to cash in on. So I wouldn't be surprised if Damian is the one to cash in on Cody Rhodes at WrestleMania 40. Why not? Think about it. Why he recently had a feud with Cody Rhodes. They're on the same brand. They're on Monday Night Raw. They recently, not that long ago, had a feud and did face each other at Crown Jewel a few months ago. So I wouldn't be surprised if they revisit that feud with Priest cashing in on Rhodes and taking that Undisputed Universal Championship. It's possible and it can happen. Damian Priest is main event caliber. Finn Balor is wasted. They didn't do shit with him. They didn't do nothing with him. He was on the roster. Dominic Mysterio is people are taking time to like him again. It's going to take time to like him again, but once he turns on Judgment Day or is put out of Judgment Day and that faction splits up, I think fans, and he's back on the singles run again, I think fans will like him again. I think fans will like Dominic when he's on the singles run. I think Rhea Ripley is main event caliber. She's the world women's champion. She's main event caliber. She's had a long world heavyweight women's title run so far since winning it at Mania last year. She's main event caliber. She is the China of wrestling right now. How big China was back in the Attitude Era, that's what Rhea Ripley is in this era right now. But we gotta really look at the importance of Damian Priest not being in Judgment Day anymore. Judgment Day was interesting as long as Edge was in the faction. After that, they brought in Finn Balor, and I was like, I don't know. And then over time, it kind of grew on me. Their gimmicks changed, and then it was like, I'm not feeling it anymore. I'm a Judgment Day fan, but I think it's just time for them to kind of split. Damian, I'm ready for her to get that world title at Mania. I am ready for Damian Priest. So mark my words. Do not think Damian Priest will not split from Judgment Day this year. And do not think Damian Priest will not cash in on the Roman and Cody match at Mania 40 at night 2. Do not think Damian Priest will not cash in and become the World Heavyweight Champion. I mean, the undisputed Universal Champion. He can win any title. But what if he wins specifically that title? Let's see what happens. So, if you like this video, make sure you leave a like, leave a comment, hit that subscribe button. Whatever you do, hit that notification bell. We go live tomorrow and the rest of the week. Hit that notification bell and subscribe to Leon the King TV. I'm out.